What's up, guys? Welcome to Landscaping to the Point, where we're always on point. And I got my special host right underneath me, Josh right underneath me, and then way down at the bottom is JC. He just got back from I don't know where he got back from. It's kind of weird wherever he goes. I mean, he always looks like he's in the hood. I think he's living in the hood or something.
Live in the hoodie, yeah.
Yeah, he lives in the hoodie. Welcome, guys. Welcome to Landscaping to the Point. We have another special episode for you. This one's called Horror Stories. So, is it cold out there, guys? I don't know. It was a little cooler today. I think we're supposed to get 80s. Are you guys getting any warm weather before?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So I think mid-60s all week, 75 on Halloween. Cooler nights. I think it's in the 30s tonight.
Yeah. That's not bad. I mean, any little bit of cooler nights are fine. I mean, I don't mind it. I mean, as long as it's not too cool. But yeah, I mean,
like
it's
a baby.
Yeah, you do sleep like a baby. You probably do. I mean, you got your wife next to you and the two dogs in between you. I mean, what do you got? One on each side of the leg?
Dogs have their own room. They sleep in a crate. They sleep in their own crates in their own room.
Well, there you go. I mean, that must be nice. No wonder it's good. You got that good life there. So, JC, how's it going with you, buddy?
It's going good. It's good. It's been a good weekend. Very productive. Fantasy football team is doing great as always, still undefeated. So I'm a very happy camper right now.
That is awesome. Yeah, mine did really good today so far. I still got defense going here in a little bit against Dallas. So hopefully my defense does good. But I'm already up 160 points, so I'm good. So let's just hope it keeps going that way. That's the way I look at it.
Nice.
Yeah. So okay. So we got horror stories this week, guys. So we're gonna talk about some horror stories, and we might talk about Halloween stuff. We might talk about I don't know, Jason coming out of the woods or some crap, but maybe we'll talk about some horror business stories because I know Josh. That's all he's got is horror stories. I mean, he ain't got nothing really good ever. So maybe once in a while he has a good story, but he does have a good story this week about something, but I'm not going to say the word because he'll get mad and want to punch something. So
taking the first flight out to Ohio.
Yep, it'd be the first one right away, right? But so tell me a good horror story that happened to you in the business. I mean, this is what I think everybody wants to know is something that just kind of mortified you, I guess, kind of changed the way you think, maybe the way you changed your business. I mean, I think that always enlightens people because I think a lot of people are always about, all the good stuff and never really want to tell us some of the bad stuff. So what do you got, Josh? I'm going to throw it to you first.
Horror stories? I don't know about horror stories.
You probably seen some dead person that you were digging up in the backyard and you found some skeletons or something. I can see that from you digging up them patios. You probably
he was the one that put the person in there.
No, yeah, I can see that too. But I can see him just being like, "Oh yeah, look, here we are," and then "Oh, I dug a body up,"
No, he digs the body up. He's like, that sucks. He keeps on going.
Well, you know what? I would because once you fucking report that, you're gonna shut down your job site for months, fully investigate. So it's like throw it off to the side, keep digging, boys.
Yeah. Do you rebury it back in the same area or what?
It's like a don't ask, don't tell situation.
I can see that. But really, I mean, you've been close probably to gas lines and stuff, haven't you? To where it's at that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been within inches of gas lines, water lines, fiber optic. I wish. We've had horror customers that we've dealt with that kind of that show their true colors, after we started the projects. But I mean, nothing crazy and out of the ordinary. I hate to disappoint, but I'm just trying to think. I think the worst thing for me is septic tanks. That'd be about it.
So you fell in a septic tank?
No, as soon as I see the septic tank, I leave the site. I won't work on the site. I can't. Can't.
No, the
No.
smell just tears you up.
That the same job that I had that was my worst customer, my worst experience. That this would be like, you'd have to know this customer in order to understand. And like 5 of the landscapers kind of worked together to finish a bunch of projects on this job. And
Right.
the husband owned a septic cleaning company. The husband was pretty cool, but he found out from my guys that I couldn't smell poop or I lose my shit. And he decided to send his guys there to pump the fucking tank, which hadn't been pumped in like 6 years or something. While I was there just to fuck with me. And man, they cracked that tank, dude. I refused to go back to the job site for like 2 weeks. It was fucking nasty, dude. Fucking nasty. Dude, you could have paid me enough to do a septic pumper's job or fucking like Alex Carey. Fucking God bless the dude, because fucking I couldn't do that, man. I could not do that shit. You gotta have fucking woof. You got balls of steel to do that crap.
Yeah, I mean, Alex, I give it to Alex. I mean, yeah, that is. I mean, we've done the install on septic, but I've never dealt with pulling those ones out that are bad and trying to replace them with new. That's a whole nother ball game, man. I mean, that's definitely nothing that I'd want to mess with.
See, for us, that'd be a horror show for us, but there are guys that are doing that every single day, like Alex. Yeah. There are guys that are just those pumping those things out all day long, literally. Like they work in the shit industry.
Dude, these are guys that are going home at night and going like, "Oh, I got something like right there," and it's like fucking, it's crud. It's legit. It's like it's fucking dry shit. Like, dude, I'd have to be like wrapped up in cellophane and like drenched in fucking rubbing alcohol when I went home. That shit is nasty, man.
Right.
So quick story, man. When I bought my house, I have a septic tank, and I had no idea how to even like manage it. So I ended up hiring a guy after about a year and a half or 2 to come pump it out for me. And it was like in the middle of the summertime. This guy had the biggest balls of steel I've ever known. He opens up that septic tank. He's pumping the thing out, no gloves, like t-shirt, things dripping on his jeans. Like he didn't care. Then he goes, "Oh, you're like the drain pipe that goes into the septic tank." He's like, "Oh, the pitch is off." He's like, "Go get me a rock." I'm like, what do you mean?" He goes, "Yeah, I'm just gonna wedge it so I can kind of bring the pitch down a little bit." I'm like, "All right." I get on a rock, and he's like, literally, his hands inside the septic system, in the hole. He's putting this rock in. He sticks his head inside the thing to take a look where the rock is, and I'm like, "Dude, whatever you charge me, I'll pay," because I'm not like, he must have had the world's strongest immune system given to man, because I have no idea. I mean, they smell it every day. It must not affect them.
No way.
Crazy.
Yeah. Brandon the Booker says the same thing. Septics are the worst, especially when they fail, man. Yeah. I have a septic too, and I would not. There's no way I'd do that job to stick my head in it. Like, I know when I took the test, they asked you what, do you want to do installs? Do you want to do cleaning? Do you want to do replacement of them after they fail? And I'm like, nope, I don't do any of that except for installs, brand new installs. Like, that's all I'm doing. Like, there's definitely not. That's one thing. Like, I can't see sticking my hand. I mean, I got a hard time cleaning up the dog poop out there in the backyard. Like, you think I want to go out and clean,
Bro,
my human crap, like, or somebody else's human crap? No way.
Bro, my stomach was so like, I've had my dog for a year and a half, right? My oldest dog. And because of that, I couldn't even be in dog shit. Like, we'd be doing a fall cleanup, and if there was dog shit, I'd walk off the property because I couldn't stomach the smell. It's like this conversation a year and a half ago, 2 years ago, I'd start gagging from just this conversation. Like, it's this and the guys that clean the porta potties. Like, these fucking guys should be making bank, dude, because to sit there and
you're about ready to Ralph.
Yo, the porta potties, man. I can't even talk about it right now. The porta potties are fucking disgusting, dude.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, that's definitely the worst. I'll tell you that much. It's definitely not something I want to deal with.
He's still gagging.
Yeah, he's still gagging. I think one of the worst ones I've ever kind of been part of. I used to work for a company, and we did a lot of fertilizations. Well, we had a machine that you could drive in and out of backyards, and this one was very tight. Well, the guy slammed into the gas meter as he was coming out, and all I heard, because at that time we had walkie talkies, and across the walkie talkie goes to every truck in the whole company, like, hey, I hit a gas pipe. Can somebody call 911? I don't want to leave the area, and it stinks, and I think it might be gonna go blow up or something. So we're all like, dude, shut the power off to the machine, walk away from the building, let the homeowners know. And he's like, the homeowner's not home. Like, I don't know what to do. And we're like, call 911, man. Like, just that's the best thing to do is call 911 and get out there. Literally at the end of the day, he was still stuck at that job, because the machine was right by it. Cops were called, fire department was called, gas company came out, ended up costing the company, I think, like $10,000 just to have the gas company come out, replace the whole gas line. Wow. So I mean, that's definitely
not bad. That's not bad at all, dude.
But that was probably like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. So I mean, yeah, dude, back then, that's a lot of money back then.
Well, dude, usually you'll get hit for the police detail, the fire department coming out. If you don't have insurance, pick that up. Like, they'll hit you with all that shit, man.
Yeah. I've cut cable lines, fiber optic cable lines, and I'll tell you what, that's something you won't want to have to worry about, because that is a horror story of having to pay that, bill to have them put in, which takes them literally 5 minutes to put a line across and be like, okay, there you go. But come on, like, it's just that bill, when you get that bill, it kind of throws you off,
Well, you dig safe. You dig safe whenever you dig, even if you
I agree with you. Dig safe is definitely. But see, when I hit it, I was pruning. Literally, it wasn't even. Yeah, should have never hit the fiber optic line. But the way they had it going up the wall and into the house, where the bushes was right next to it.
Oh, you hit a feed line.
Yep. Yeah. That's why it's like, I don't know. That's just way out there. So. But what horror movies make you cringe? That's what I want to know. JC, what horror movie makes you cringe when you watch it? Either you've already watched it once and you can't watch it anymore, or you can never make it through the whole movie.
I've never really been a fan of horror movies. I have seen most of the popular ones, but when I was a kid and I was young, for some reason or another, my parents thought it was an okay idea for us to watch the original Exorcist. And that movie is not just like a horror show in itself or a horror movie in itself. It was just, that movie's messed up. But yeah, we watched that as a kid, and I don't know if it was because my parents didn't realize what kind of movie it was, but yeah, it was kind of crazy. So I don't like that movie at all. Even if it's on just like regular cable TV, if I'm channel surfing here and there, I don't watch it. I can't watch it. It's just so messed up on different levels. But I like the Freddys, Jasons, and stuff like that. But I think as far as movies that left an impact for me, it definitely has to be the original Exorcist.
Original Exorcist. Okay. Yeah. Josh, what? I know you're into horror movies. You're definitely into horror movies, like I am.
So cringe-worthy horror movies?
Yeah. What one makes you cringe? I mean, you've seen a lot, dude. I know.
Blair Witch Project. Blair Witch Project is like.
That one's lame.
Why does it make you cringe? It's cringe. It's fucking stupid. It's one of the worst.
So see, I'm thinking cringe like it freaked you out. No, so you're saying it was lame, like
lame,
like lame-o. Like, so when the kids say cringe, like, Dad, you cringe. Like, this shit was lame. Like, it was cringe. Like that. I remember that came out when I was in high school, and everybody was making such a big fuss about it, how good it was, and I watched it. I'm like, this is fucking piss poor horrible. Like, you could have done a better one with like a fucking razor flip phone walking around the woods of fucking Blue Hill Ave. You know what I mean? Like, it's fucking bad, horrible.
I agree.
Yeah, I think that was one of the movies I think that just is stupid. I mean, yeah, walking around the woods trying to videotape stuff like but what scared you off your ass? Like that's what I want to know. Like what I mean, you've watched a lot. What has scared you off the ass that you're like, shit, I'm not gonna watch I don't want to watch the rest of this, or like it makes you think when you're like walking through the house in the middle of the dark.
You know what? You know what really messed with me when I was younger, and it wasn't the movie. It was like a story. Was Slender Man?
Okay.
It was the story of Slender Man, and just this fucking tall, narrow thin dude just creeping around the corners of trees and shit would give me fucking nightmares. You know, obviously like Freddy was always my go-to. I love Freddy. When I was younger, I remember even being like 12, 13 and being like, that shit don't bother me, dude. And then having to go to bed and the lights were off and fucking booking it, diving over your bedpost so that he can't grab you from underneath.
Right.
Horror is good. Jeepers Creepers is a good one. You don't realize that depending on your mood and what you're in, the Jeepers Creepers can kind of bug you out a little bit. You know, even as an adult, when I lived in the suburbs, I'd put it on and like I'd go outside when I would smoke. I'd go outside to have a butt, and you're looking around, you're like, "Fuck this shit! Get the fuck out of here!" And then I can't remember the names, but there's a lot of like some low budget like ones that didn't really hit the big screen that are really really fucking good. And then there's really bad like Cocaine Bear. I got like 10 minutes into that, fucking stupid. The Leprechauns are funny, but they're kind of stupid too.
He's kind of funny too.
Yeah.
I'm gonna rip your fucking head off. Like one of those.
Yeah, they're all interesting movies. I mean, I think Children of the Corn is kind of one of the ones that, like anymore, I think it would scare the shit out of me living out in the cornfields. That's one of the ones. But I think really the only ones that has really freaked me out, I mean, was Jaws right off when I was younger. I'm still scared to go in the freaking ocean. I mean, I don't know what it is, but
that messed up a lot of people.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's something about that. I mean, but I mean, I've watched a lot of horror movies, and I think there's certain ones that I've watched a couple zombie ones where they're like they literally make you jump at that point to where it kind of makes you wonder what the heck is going on. But I mean, when I grew up, we had a basement, and literally, I tell you what, there was a door that kind of led up to a crawl space. And I'll tell you what, that door was always closed. And I'll tell you what, if I went down there with that lights are off, dude, I was scared to shit when I was a younger kid to go down there and like turn that light on, because you had to go down there and pull the thing to turn the light on. So I would hurry my ass up down there, hurry up, pull that, and come back up the stairs a little bit just to make sure that nothing was coming out that door. I'll tell you what, man, that was one of the things that scared the shit out of me. And that's probably because of all the scary movies we watched when I was younger. I mean, but literally some of these newer ones, I mean, they're funny. Like, they're really funny. And when you sit there and watch them and actually analyze it more as you're watching it, and it's like, okay, what do you do? So
it's a lot more fun being afraid of them when you're a kid as opposed to an adult. One movie that I saw that just disturbed me because it was kind of messed up. Like the kids were killing people. It was called, I don't know if you've watched it. It's called Sinister. It came out in 2012. And I think Ethan Hawke is in it. He's like one of the main characters. And it's like, I don't know, the typical, they move into this new house and stuff, and, some kind of old history of murders and something like, gets the kids to go crazy. It is just messed up.
Right. We got two people on YouTube. One says Jesus Beltron says Mike Myers or Jason. So I'm trying to think which one's worse. I think he's trying to say which one's worse to you guys, Mike Myers or Jason. I would say, I'd say Jason's more scarier than Mike Myers.
That's a great question because they're very similar in demeanor.
Right. I think so. I mean, they are similar, but I would say Jason more over Mike Myers than anything.
I'm going to go Mike Myers.
You go Mike Myers?
Yeah.
Gosh, what's your deciding factor here?
See, Jason's definitely iconic. When you think of horror as a genre, you think Freddy, Jason, Hellraiser, but Mike Myers, yeah, he's up there. I'm gonna go with Jason.
Okay. And then Red Flintstone says, as a kid, old zombie type movies were scary, but some of the new ones don't have the same effect. Not sure why. Do you think it's because of CGI, Josh? I think
Yeah,
some of that.
they overdo it. You know what freaks me out when you start thinking about it, when you start watching it, is the fast zombies, the zombies that run. So, like, what I thought was one of the last really good zombie movies was the one with Brad Pitt, Z Nation, I think it was.
Right. Yeah.
And that's like, if you think about it, like, I'm into that sci-fi, and we've talked, like, it's always like that zombie apocalypse or like the end of the world apocalypse.
Right.
Like, it's like, all right, you think about, like, yeah, dude, a bunch of slugging, like, dead people walking down the street, you outrun them. Those fucking zombies that are running like Kenyans, dude, are you fucking kidding me? They fucking catch you? That's scary as fuck, man.
Yeah.
So I think anything like that where they run is good. But no, they do. So a lot of the new movies, they just overdo it with, like, the, it's like just kind of like, you know, don't go crazy. It doesn't have to, like, a mutant, you know what I mean? Just like a body that's going through, like, it's decomposing, you know, throw it on there. Don't overdo it.
Yeah, I think that, and then just I don't know. I think watching some of the older ones, yeah, there was a lot more to it because you knew it was more into it. It wasn't CGI'd. You know what I'm saying? It was more realistic than I think before now, where it's just half of it's CGI'd. I mean, unless you're watching Walking Dead, which they put a crap load of makeup on to kind of get to that point, but a lot of this now is just CGI to where, like, hey, let's just put you in a green suit, you run around, and we'll add all the what we need to add into it. And
the writing sucks now too. Like, the majority of horror movies from like 2010 to now, they just don't know how to end it, and it's always just shit. Like, it could be the best storyline, and then the ending just fucking like just destroys the movie. The idea.
Oh yeah, definitely. I think so. I mean, I think that's one of the things that throws people off. You know, is the ending.
Like for the zombies, back, like The Walking Dead, I think was so popular not just because of the zombie aspects, but because of the reality that, like, people would react like that. Like, you wouldn't just have to worry about zombies; you'd have to worry about other people, other tribes of people, how they're going to kill you to do what they got to do. And I think that was a big part of that, where the writing took off, where it wasn't just based solely around zombies. The zombies were kind of like the extra with it. It was more about, like, the piece of shit people that are out there and will do worse than the zombies will do.
Yeah, I think there's more of a storyline to it. So it's more, like you said, more drama with the other characters than there is the zombies. And when you get to a lot of these zombie movies, it's more about the zombies. Like, hey, watch out for this zombie. Look out for this one that's jumping out of the barrel. Like, come on. Like, some of this stuff. Do you feel like when you watch some of these movies now, I know now that I watch some of these movies, I'm always thinking ahead when I'm watching some of these scary movies. Like, hey, why are you walking down that stairway? You know, why are you walking down a dark hallway in the middle of a abandoned building? What the hell are you doing?
Yeah,
something's gonna pop the hell out. You know,
that's good writing though. If you can get the viewer engaged to be like, "What the fuck are you?" Like, that's good writing. But that's what I mean. They do so good, and then the ending suck. Like, did you guys remember Bird Box with Sandra Bullock? It was like a Netflix movie, and, like, it was just like the ending was like, what the fuck? Like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It was horrible. And there's another one too, Black Phone or Phone in the Basement, the guy that abducts the kid. It came out like 3 or 4 years ago. It abducts a kid and keeps her in the basement. It's like a whole thing. It's fucking horrible too. Yeah. I haven't seen a horror movie that the ending I've been like, wow. Like, for me in a horror movie, mother and fucking daughter get away, and as they're walking away, their head gets fucking blown off. That's a fucking great ending. Like, something you're not used to. There was The Mist. The Mist was a great one. Okay. And this is spoiler alert. If you've never seen The Mist, in the ending, the father, son, and then I think it's like 2 random strangers are in a truck, and they realize they're not going to make it out. And the father has like 3 bullets or something, and he's going, oh shit. He goes, oh, what am I going to do? He knows they're not going to survive. So what's he do? puts a bullet in his kid's head, puts a bullet in the other two people's head, and just out of like desperation tries to shoot himself.
Right.
All of a sudden he hears the aliens or whatever. It's like a sci-fi movie. He hears the aliens coming out of the mist. What is it? It's the fucking army coming and killing all the fucking animals after he just wasted his kid and the two people in the back seat.
That's messed up.
Like, but like, dude, the ending was like, yes, finally, someone
Right.
that's gory and fucked up in the head. Awesome.
Yeah, I think that's good. That is good, ending to it. I tell you what, one that kind of I just came to mind. One that kind of it kind of made me when it first came out, and I watched the first one and the second one. I always wanted to go to Europe, but once I watched Hostel, I was kind of like, well, maybe I don't want to go to Europe. No, that watching that and where they take them people from the hostel and just kill them, and somebody's paying to kill them. It's one of those ones you're like, shit, do I really want to go to Europe now? Like, it made me think for a while there, for a couple of years, of like, man, I don't know if I want to go to Europe now. Like, where am I going to stay? Like, there is no Holiday Inns over there, like what the hell, so yeah. It's,
a good one too that comes to mind. I don't think it would be really labeled. Maybe it is labeled as a horror type of series, but Squid Games, man.
Yeah,
the new season's coming out. That one keeps you like interested and engaged into what's happening.
But that's where I like those movies. Yeah, I like those movies that keep you engaged into where you want to go, and even after it ends, if they end it to where it stops where you're like, okay, what the hell happened? I'm gonna want to watch the next season or the next movie when it comes out.
Yeah, the new season for that is I don't know if it's out yet or it's coming out, but after the first season, it's been a 2-year span. So like people, I think, were left obviously wanting to see more and wanting to see the next seasons, and they had to wait 2 years before new ones come out.
Right. Josh, you had something to say on that? Sorry.
Yeah, no, I was just saying that. Yeah, it definitely, it's under the umbrella. It's like a horror thriller. So it definitely falls under that umbrella. But
yeah, I tell you what, that's definitely something.
But just to throw them out there. So like, I'm a big Saw guy. I like Saw. I like the collection of Saw. I like Grudge. I like The Ring. Movies like kind of like those early 2000 movies. I really go after. Like the first Final Destination. I know that was more thriller, but the first and second, even the second one was but the first one was like iconic. It was just like, holy shit. We walked out of there. We walked out of the movie there to go, that was fucking stupid. And the whole way home, we're like looking around at things kind of bugged out, like, yo, wait a second. Maybe this could happen. What the fuck?
Right. Yeah. I mean, there's been some good movies, definitely. I mean, I think, some of the older ones were a lot more, I don't know, scarier and more into it but I feel like even with like now with doing Jason, like keep going with Jason, it's just, and redoing some of these movies, it's just, you're just trying to bring in more money into that series, but I feel like you're going on and on and on. Like, we know the person's dead, or we know he disappeared. Like, I don't want to keep watching 14 movies to find out what's going to keep going on. I think
think about Texas Chainsaw Massacre. How many times has that been? They didn't touch it, and then late 90s, early 2000s come around. I think it's been remade like 10 times now.
Right. Yeah, it's been remade too much. I mean, I think they need to, at one point, just say, okay, we're done for a while. Put it away 10, 20 years and then come back. Okay. Don't keep going on about it.
Do you guys like the like Rob Zombie stuff, House of 1,000 Corpses?
Yeah, I love all his stuff.
It's different. It's definitely different.
Yeah. He's came out with that new one that's supposed to be called Steamboat.
Yeah.
I want to see that one. And there's supposed to be a couple other ones that on that same line. So that, I definitely can't wait for those. Yeah. House of 1,000 Corpses is definitely a good one. One I used to always watch, and I stopped watching it. And I don't know why, but my wife made a note of it the other day, is Wicked Clowns from Outer Space. Like, I used to love watching that like nonstop. And I don't know if that was because, I was into ICP when I was younger or what, but man, and I am into clowns. So, I mean, that might be one of the things, And it was actually pretty cool because last year I think Spirit Halloween had like little individual characters, and I almost bought them all because it was like, dude, like I used to watch that movie all the time. Like I should get those characters and put them all through the house. So, but yeah, I think there's different aspects.
Scott, I got a question for you because
Sure.
you're from the cornfields and it seems to be like the harboring home for like scary stuff that happens. But does your town or like where you live have like folklore stories?
Not that I know of. Um,
Like, is there a place that like people like kids go to like every Halloween and like, oh, let's go down there because it's like haunted or there's a house or
no, I mean there's not that I know of. I mean, I know I've been out this way for almost 10 years, and I don't know of anything that's really that scary and haunted. Um, I mean, I've heard of things, but nobody's really kind of like said, "Oh, this is where you got to go to be haunted or whatever." But yeah, I mean, there's houses that I would say are abandoned and run down that you would think would be haunted, because nobody's touched them. Actually, a funny story is when I used to work for the first company doing lawn mowing. There used to be a house over in one of the rich areas that we used to mow, and it was abandoned and it was way run down. And me and two other guys, we all dared ourselves to go in there and walk through this house. And I'll tell you what, walking through that house, it was like falling apart and crap. I don't even know why the hell we were walking through it, but it was just one of those things that you were like, it looked like one of those old scary movies where the house was like totally possessed and all that shit. You were just kind of scared to go anywhere. And all three of us would not go down in the basement. For some reason, we would not go in that basement. We got about halfway down the stairs, turned around, and was like, okay, we're done. And I'll tell you what, we heard noises left and right. So, I mean, I don't know if it was animals or what, but I'll tell you what, that was one of the scariest houses I've ever been to. And I'll tell you what, that's more scary than going to some of these scary houses and haunted houses that they have around here. So,
I don't know if Josh, you heard of Spider Gates?
Spider Gate. Ooh, that sounds familiar.
It's where it's in Leicester, right near where we had when we went out Saturday. So I'm gonna read something real quick. It's just off of Google, but I remember this. This is like super famous. It's so famous that they've actually made a craft beer named after it locally around here. It's an old Quaker cemetery. It gets its name from the iron gates at the entrance that resembles spider webs. One of the rumors is that the entrance to the cemetery is actually the eighth gate to hell.
Huh.
So basically, this is true because I've actually been there. It's a secret cemetery in the middle of the woods, and even trying to find it is a little difficult because nobody knows where the first gates are. Um, a lot of like high school kids or whatever, they'll go there at night and they'll play jokes on their buddies. They'll leave their friends, or sometimes they'll like some of them will go in the woods ahead of time and try to scare people as they go through it. But supposedly there's eight gates, and again, the theory is if you go through each gate, then you end up, I don't know, but going through the gateway through hell or something like that. But it's such a iconic story around here that everyone knows about it. And I've been through it, and it takes a little bit to try to find it because you actually have to walk in the woods. And from what I understand, that it's still somewhat used, but I think it's just super private, and nobody really knows who owns it or why it's even there. And the creepiest thing about it is that it's not attached to the cemetery, but there's like this little area where there's like a hill that goes down, and there's all these statues of like these like people in a big crucifix with like Jesus hanging on it, and it's all like stonework, and it's just in a weird spot just to be randomly there.
Wow.
But yeah, it's kind of cool. It's a little story that we even knew in the city growing up, that the next town over is this place called Spider Gates.
That's very interesting. I mean, I think that. So, have you ever been there?
I have, yeah.
Yeah, when you were younger or recently?
When I was younger, yeah. So I still don't. I didn't go through the all
Eighth
eight
gate.
gates. I couldn't find it. So like the only area that I found was like one particular area of the cemetery, and we went through. I think might have been the first gate to get there.
Oh,
But you really have to walk to get into this middle to the middle of the cemetery. It's kind of strange.
that's interesting. That's interesting. Steadalon's on Instagram says, "Is Josh napping?" I told him, "Yeah, you were napping. You look like you were napping." He says he misses us, guys. He's laughing. He goes, "It's very interesting." Then Red Flintstone says, "Can you name 2 old movies that you would like to see redone with today's special effects?" Josh?
I got to think about that one.
Okay, I
Two
got
old
one. I mean, I would
movies.
like to see Freddy Krueger redone. I think like redoing the whole original Freddy Krueger would be nice to see that.
Like a prequel.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah.
think like so if you take like the original one with like Johnny Depp,
Yeah.
it'd be cool because like going back now watching it, it was cool for the era that they were in, the
Yeah.
effects they had. But if you could redo that one now, because like what was the last Freddy? 2000 was it Freddy vs Jason? I think was the last
Yeah.
one,
Yeah.
and that was probably like 2000 maybe.
Yeah. 2000, 2005, somewhere in there. Yeah.
Still almost 25 years ago. So,
Yeah.
so it'd be cool for that. Yeah, I'd say Freddy.
I'd say the original, try to go back to the original. Oh, shit. The original zombie ones. Kind of redo the original ones.
For Josh, yeah, he wants to redo the Blair Witch Project again.
He wants to do it.
You know what? I think like with the editing abilities now, I think they could have killed it. I just think that fucking movie was so overrated, dude.
Yeah. Yeah. Red says Christine and Puppet Master. I didn't really think about Puppet Master. I mean, Puppet Master actually was pretty interesting movie to watch. I'll tell you that much.
Chucky would be cool to see with like new effects too, like the current effects.
Yeah. Yeah. See, Chucky did good for me till they brought in the Bride of Chucky, and then
Yeah,
that just threw me the hell off, dude. It stopped it all right there. You know.
Did you ever have one of those My Buddy dolls that looked like the Chuckies?
No, I did not.
I was too poor, but I know friends that had one.
Oh yeah, I don't know. I mean that my parents didn't have one. I mean, I think we watched that movie, the first one, at least 5 times in the first year that it was out. So I mean, we didn't have no problem with that one. I mean, I had friends that were scared of freaking their sister's dolls after that movie came out, dude. Like they were literally scared shitless of their sister's dolls. I mean, because of that, and I'm just like, dude, it's just a movie. Like it's not even real. Like it's just some small guy running around. Like, what are you worried about? Like, and they're like, no, it's real, man.
You know who used to scare the shit out of me when I was little? Maleficent, the witch from Snow White, the cartoon. I used to have fucking nightmares about her, dude. Movie, not even joking, dude. Fucking nightmares.
Oh. So have you seen any of the newer stuff?
I did. I tell you, like the feelings came back on the first one that Angelina Jolie played, and I'm like, yeah, I fucking see why I was fucking scared. Call me a little bitch as a kid. I was probably like 9, but dude, I was hiding under my covers, dude. You close your eyes and like you think she's in the corner of the room.
Right.
It was scary.
Jeez. Oh.
Here's a good Halloween one for you.
Okay.
So when I was younger, my cousins got a house down Cape Cod. Now, don't mistake this with like the bougie beach houses of Cape Cod. This is an area, a town called Falmouth in Cape Cod, which is kind of like the poor man's vacation, right? So basically, where like normal people live down there. So when you go down, the houses are nice, but some of them are kind of run down. So that every time we went down there, we were told not to walk down the street on our own because there was a guy named Mr. Toomey that used to live down the house. And the rumor was that he stole kids and he raped them and then caught them up and murdered them. Now, this is my fucking mother and my uncles and my aunts telling me the story. It's honestly probably under 10 years old at this point. So we hear the story, and we're at my aunt and uncle's house, and then we go to my cousin's house who live on the other side of Falmouth. So they live in an area where like you have to walk 2 miles to just go check the mail, like through what looks like a cornfield, right? Like dune grasses and stuff. So they're telling us the stories, like, yeah, don't worry, we're far away from the Toomey, blah, 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 blah. We go to bed, all me and my cousins are sitting in the room at night. Next thing you know, you hear boom, boom, boom. Guy walks in with a hoodie and just a white mask on. Comes up, my cousins were all screaming. Grabs me, picks me up. My cousins are screaming and like hitting him. Goes down the dark basement stairs and starts walking down. It had to be like a 300-foot driveway. I'm fucking shaking. I'm petrified. I'm like, oh my fucking God. My mother finally must have woke up and comes running out. No. They took it, dude. I didn't go back to the Cape for like fucking 15 years after that shit, dude. Fuck that shit. The Mr. Toomey thing, dude. To this day, my cousin will come over to my house and bring it up, and I'm just.
So that wasn't like a joke being played on you. That
was
actually
a joke being played, but it ended up being like a fucking traumatic experience, dude. Think about it. You just hear the story. So this is a buildup of years and years of hearing this guy that lives. You could see the house, and it was like one of these like log-looking houses where like they're broken apart. It's rotted. There's like moss, just tree branches down. And it looks creepy as hell. So when you're a kid and you're hearing these stories, and you grow up watching, fucking movies where kids get taken and shit. And then all of a sudden, this dude walks into the room, picks me up. No one picks me up. My aunts are in it, and they're all probably fucking stoned and drunk, laughing their asses off.
Right.
We're all fucking screaming. And I remember, dude, we're all in our late 30s and 40s. And when we talk about it, dude, everybody talks about how fucking traumatic that shit was, dude. Because I just get carried down slowly by this guy with a white mask and a hoodie on. Walked down the basement stairs, out the door, and when I say pitch black, like pitch fucking black, dude. And my problem,
yeah, no wonder you're the way you are now.
Oh, dude.
Yeah, no wonder you don't want to go nowhere. Jeez, I understand that. So, what did you know who it was that took you out, or no?
Yeah, it was my uncle.
Oh.
Mr.
So do you regret your uncle every time you see him? You go up to him and be like, "Thanks, dude. Thanks for taking me out."
I think I told him when I was like 35. I was like, "You're a fucking cocksucker for that shit." Fuck you. Like, fuck you.
Yeah, have you played any jokes on your kids?
Every now and I don't go to that extent, but I messed with them real bad one night where they were I forget. I'm trying to remember the movie because it's not a popular one. But it was probably one of the better movies I've seen in the past 15 years. And I started messing with them. We were watching movies like, all right, I got to go upstairs and fall asleep. My wife was out away for the night or something. And I don't know what I kept doing. I kept calling them from a private number. They thought I was asleep. And my phone was on my bed and just doing like that. And the best thing is that I could hear him from my room. And they're like, I think that's Dad. And then I'm going to go upstairs and like, shit, they're going to know. So they're trying to creep up the stairs. You can tell they're nervous because my youngest goes to my oldest. She goes, you go up first. She's like, no, you're the one that's worried. You go first. But it was like perfect time. And one of the cats was rubbing a clawing against something in one of the rooms all the way in the back. So it gave like this noise. And they shit their fucking pants, dude. I try not to mess with them too much on that stuff. But when I was a teenager, we like to go to like dark suburban towns along like the Route 2 corridor in Mass out here. And we'd find like hiking trails and walk through them. And we'd go with people that would start getting scared. But we'd walk those trails so often that when the people would start getting scared, we'd fucking book it on them and hide like the trees and shit. And they had no idea we had to go. That was always great.
Heck yeah. That's nice. Okay, so what is your favorite Halloween candy when you were a kid, and do you still crave it now?
Oh man, that's a good one. I mean, so the cool thing about being an adult is whenever you want to have a certain candy, you just go out and buy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. I switch it up. When I was a kid, I loved. I still love candy, but not as much. All the cavities and dental bills that I have now because of it. I just love going to the house that gave like the full size candy bars. You know, like that was like the always thing. Like you're always looking for that house or asking your friends, hey, this house is giving out full size candy bars. You know, and then,
Right.
I don't know. I guess I had to go with like Twix or like Reese's peanut butter cups.
Okay.
Yeah, probably something like that.
Sounds good. Josh.
I'd say as a kid, it was probably Reese's peanut butter cups and Butterfingers. But from then and even now, my Halloween candy, and I do like it, is candy corn.
Candy corn. See, I hated that. I hated candy
I
corn when I
love
was a
it.
kid, dude.
It just reminded me. I think it's like nostalgia. It just reminds me of Halloween. It's like
Right.
it really sticks out about it, you know.
Yeah. I mean, mine was probably Butterfinger, Twix, Twizzlers every once in a while if we had a lot. Um, I always remember throwing the suckers away. Like when I was younger, I'd throw the suckers away because I didn't want no suckers around. Um, and I always hated when I got like an apple from somebody. Like
Never
you know,
got
I get that apple, or like we used to have a lady that was down like 5 houses from us that would make like popcorn balls, and you get a
Yeah.
popcorn
Oh, I
ball.
like those. Yeah, those are good.
Dude, I hated that. Like I'd end up throwing it out as soon as I got down the street. Like, you know, but man, it was just one of those things that, you know, I don't know. It was
You
one
know
of
what's
those
weird?
things.
I never ever got crack or razor blades with all the talk that went on back then.
No, me neither.
Like it was like my mother was always, I gotta inspect your candy. I gotta make sure there's no razor blades in there.
Yep.
It's like, does someone actually go through the fucking trouble of like cutting up fucking Coke and going, I'm gonna open up this package of Snickers and inject it with powdery substances and then seal it back up and give it to a kid.
Yeah.
I think, you know, my parents always said you had to wait till you got home. I'll tell you what, we went around the block at least 4 times, and I tell you what, I ate probably more candy when I walked around than, you know, I dumped on the ground when I got home to show my mom. So it was like there was a lot of wrappers in there that she was like, "Well, why'd you eat that candy? How do you know it wasn't, you know, cut with a razor blade or something?" I'm like, "Still here, mom."
See, my dad would inspect our candy, but I'd only get like half of it back. It must have been like tainted, you know?
Yeah, dad tax.
I did the inspection shit, but I mean I straight up just took it. I would tell him like, nah, that Reese's, nah, it's got drugs in it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I always made my kids separate it. We did all three of them would get bags. We'd go through it and then be like, okay, well, I'll take that. You take that. Split up whoever wanted what, you know?
It was cool because like sometimes like you dump out your bag and you'd find like those rare candies that you've never had before, or like you don't even know where they sell them, like just kind of like weird, like the dots. You know what I'm talking about? They're like the little jelly.
Yeah, they rip your fucking teeth out.
Yeah,
Right.
but, like where do you even buy those? I never knew where to get them.
I
Like,
don't
you'd always
know.
get them on Halloween.
Dude, you can buy them. Actually, I know at the store right next door to us, there you can buy a big box of them. And I'll tell you what, dude, I wouldn't buy them. Like that was one of the things I think I didn't I didn't want those. Like I'd try to trade them away with somebody if I could.
It would rip your fillings out of your teeth.
Oh hell
But,
yeah. Yeah.
yeah,
Rip
yeah,
your
I like
braces off. Yeah.
yeah. How about money? When you got money?
Dude, I love that. I love when I got money.
Never got money.
You never got money?
No. I
Well,
probably
that's
had a better chance of getting cracked if I had money. You know?
Well, yeah, where you lived, yeah. No shit. Oh, okay, Josh. I know this one's probably. I'm gonna aim this one to you because I mean I got kids, you got kids. What is one thing that your kids got that like amazed you, candy wise?
What they got?
Yeah, because literally my kids, we went to one town, literally when I don't know, it was like a couple years back, and it was a smaller town because we're out in the small towns. Okay, so we tried to do 2 towns in one year. in the one small town, one of the houses was giving pops away to the kids, literally 12-ounce cans or like a bottle of pop to each kid. And that amazed me that they literally took the time and did that. And then there was another one that actually they were giving out like plushies for girls, and then guys they were giving out like comic books and all kinds of different things, like baseballs and all kinds of
That's
stuff.
cool.
Yeah.
So I want to say like the like not crazy, but the most out of place thing would probably be, I think there was one that was giving out sodas and Capri Suns and stuff, but it was cool because then there was another cooler and they said, "Hey, Dad, Mom, come up here," and it was full of beer, and they give you the solo cups to walk around the neighborhood with.
Oh, that's
But
cool.
I mean, it'd be more the you get the big candy bars. You get
Right.
the store side, like Jay was saying, like you get the full size candy bars. They'd get like the Rice Krispie treats or something like that.
Oh, you know what I like too is the coupons for the free Frosties at Wendy's, or like stuff like that.
The free hamburger. Yeah.
Yeah.
The free hamburger. All right. Last Halloween question, and then we're going to call it a night, guys. So, what's one thing you give away right now to kids that come to your door?
Candy.
Well, I mean, if they came to your door right now and knocked on your door for candy, let's say it's Halloween, what would you give to them?
Fucking smack upside the head. Bring my
What if they said they wanted a hot dog?
That's a great question because I'm looking around right now. I'm in a pickle right now. I don't know.
Do you got pickles? I mean, you can give them a jar of pickles.
No, that'd be weird. I'd probably give them like, I think I have a couple dollar bill, like a buck or two or something. I don't know.
Buck or two? Okay.
Yeah, I don't have anything to give them. I mean, if I had candy, I'd be eating it right now.
See? Josh, what would you give them?
If kids ring my bell right now?
Yeah, right
Shut
now.
my light off, dude. I don't like kids. I like my kids. Shut my light off and go to bed.
Have you ever been egged or had your house egged?
Oh, I got a great story for that, man.
No. I my house has never been egged.
Have you egged?
I've been egged. Yeah, I participated in my section of the city called Egg Wars when we were teenagers, and we had like a massive thing. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I get a good story when it comes to that. I might have told you guys. I've said that story so many times, but I don't know. So when I was a kid, me and my two buddies, we decided that we wanted to go outside for Halloween and egg our school. So we're wearing our costumes, and the first thing we do is we go to the Spanish bodega store, and we each buy a carton of eggs. And like the lady had no idea. She's like, "Oh, why are you guys buying so many eggs?" We're like, "Oh, we're making freaking French toast or some shit. I don't know." So we put it in our sleeping bags because that's how we got our candy. So we go to the school, and we get there, and we're all chicken shit to do it. I'm like, "You go first," and the other kid's like, "No, you go first." And fuck it. So like, we're not gonna do it. We're just gonna go trick or treating. So we go trick or treating, and we're walking down the street, and next thing you know, this car comes flying down the street, just like screeching, hauling ass. Next thing you know, like it slams its brakes and it stops right in front of us. And like, we're stupid. We're looking at the car, and like nothing's happening. Next thing you know, this Vietnamese kid jumps out of the freaking sunroof and starts throwing eggs at us, and like we're getting beamed with. We're like, we're hiding behind trees and stuff.
Right.
And then I go to my friend and I go, "Oh shit, we have eggs too." Now these kids didn't know we had eggs; they thought we were trick or treaters. So we go into our bags and we start covering this car, which is like freaking all over the place. Inside the sunroof where the kid popped out of, the car is covered like snot. So we're laughing, and they get out of the car and start chasing us. So we're running through people's yards. We're jumping fences. Our costumes are getting all torn up. And as scary as it was, because these kids were older than us, obviously, and if they would have caught us, they would have kicked our ass. We're running, but we're also laughing too, because that plan completely backfired on them. And the car got destroyed. I mean, man, that there was so many eggs that had to have gotten inside that car. That would not have been a freaking fun job to clean up afterwards. But nonetheless, we lost them. We lost them in the yards, and it was like probably one of the best Halloweens we've ever had.
Heck yeah. So Black Sheep and Brightstone are on Instagram. They're following us right now. Thanks for watching us, guys. But Pablo said he used to throw oranges and eggs at cars.
Damn.
Oranges.
And eggs. I get that you're in Florida, Pablo, but throwing oranges? Like, how is that possible? He's like, yeah, like actual oranges. Like,
dude, that's almost as bad as like throwing a bowling ball off of a freaking highway ramp.
Dude, have you ever hit a ar and destroyed something like with them oranges? Like, eggs are gonna quickly break, but oranges, man, you get them nice and hard, they're gonna break a window, really, you know. Damn. Oh my gosh. I mean, I'll tell you what, I've never had my house TP'd. I did participate in a TP once, but I never got to TP a lot of houses. But yeah, I mean, we went out once to try to egg, and we were younger, and we didn't get that far because our parents turned around and found us and stopped us before we get too far down the road. But yeah, he goes, yeah, Pablo goes, the sound of hitting the car was insane.
We have Pablo admitting to crimes on the podcast.
Right. And Brightstone said he's throwing spark plugs at windshields. Are you throwing?
Yeah.
That's really gonna break some windshields there. Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely.
Dude, you gotta be.
Pablo said that was back in Puerto Rico. That was when he was in Puerto Rico. So I get it then, but like, man, that sound has got to be.
Can you imagine you're just driving, all of a sudden, like an orange smacks you in the face,
and then an egg comes through your windshield. What the hell? We've had some really good people on both today. I want to thank everybody that's been on Instagram, everybody that's been on YouTube with your questions and everything. Definitely, it has definitely been a great episode here, guys. So if you got any other good horror stories you want us to tell next week, DM us and let us know. Continue to watch Landscaping to the Point, or you can listen to us on all the podcasting forums. I'm just thrown away by the oranges thing. I tell you what, that is definitely something. I'll tell you what. But thanks everybody for watching us. Continue to watch us. We'll be back next week. We got some great news coming up next week, so definitely come back for that. And go hit up Cujo for a pair of shoes if you need a pair of shoes. Thank you, Cujo, for sponsoring our show.